bringing you the latest Arizona high school football recruiting news year-round. This is the Recruiting Roundup on ProsToPreps.com.
High school football just a couple weeks away, and we're getting psyched up for it. Jason Jewell, Jared Cohen, every week we bring you the latest in Arizona high school football recruiting. And this time around, we're going to spotlight one of the deepest positions in the entire state. We're going to spotlight the defensive line and the players that make it so deep. And when you talk defense this season, for this upcoming season, you have to talk Hamilton. As always, the defending state champions, but it's their defense that's going to set them apart this season. And it starts with their defensive line and their leader on that line, Jalen Cunningham.
Yeah, the senior has multiple big-time offers. Looks like he's down to Texas A&M, Arizona State, and Oregon. We've been talking about this kid for a lot of years because he's been playing varsity since he was a freshman and been an impact player since his freshman year. He's a big-time player that actually is also, we call him a defensive end now, but he's being recruited as an outside linebacker by Arizona State.
So that's Jalen Cunningham on one side. On the other side, we have a junior, goes by the name of Caleb Pert. This kid has really seen his recruitment blow up in this past offseason, and he's expecting a big season.
Yeah, the last time we talked about him, he got his first offer from the University of Nevada. I expect him to have multiple offers later on. I really like how he gets off the football. He is so quick off the ball. He doesn't have the prototypical size that you like out of a defensive end, but his burst off the ball is second to none.
Desert Vista's Jalen Jelks is one of the biggest players in the state, being recruited more so on both sides of the ball, but he insists that the defensive line is where he wants to end up.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear it talking about playing an offensive tackle, but I actually think he'd be a very good offensive tackle at the next level. But he's committed to Oregon as a defensive lineman. The Ducks like to use those big defensive tackles, defensive ends. We've seen what they did with local kids like Isaac Remington out of Valley Christian and Deion Jordan out of Chandler. They like those big, tall, long kids. So Jelk's committed to the Ducks, a big pickup for them.
Haven't been a lot of recruits that have come out of Central High School over the last few years, but Coletivo Fafita on their defensive line is one of the most interesting players to watch in the upcoming season.
Yeah, when we compare him to Jelks, he doesn't have the size. He's about 7 inches shorter. He's only about 6 foot or 6'1", but he really gets after it. He's a terror at the nose guard spot, but he's also a very good offensive lineman. Getting recruited as a defensive lineman, though, has 3 offers right now. You know, could get more offers because defensive linemen are just hard to find.
We talk about a duo on the Hamilton defensive line. Well, it would only be fitting to include Chandler's defensive line, their rival as well. And the first one, a player that we've talked about a lot, a guy I know that you're very intrigued to watch this season because he's coming off of an injury, and that's Jordan Hoyt.
Yeah, Jordan Hoyt is a kid that I like as a player, and I like him as a kid. He's great to talk to. He is above a 4.0 GPA student. He did not play as a junior because of an injury. Already, though, has 2 offers from Northern Arizona and UC Davis. With a big early part of the season, his recruitment will blow up.
And his counterpart on the defensive line is Flores. Now, this is a guy that kind of floats under the radar, but he's kind of the heart and soul of this Chandler Wolves defense.
Yeah, he's very similar in size and stature to Coletivo Fafita. He's not real big. He's only 6 foot or 6'1", but 260, and he really plays hard. He gets off the football, and he's a terror inside.
We've talked about one junior, Caleb Pert, another one of the top juniors on the defensive side of the ball, plays at Corona del Sol. Cassius Pete, the bloodline is there. He's the next one waiting in the wings that we need to spotlight.
Right, we all know about his dad playing in the NFL and his 2 brothers playing at the Division I level. He will play at the next level. Arizona State is his only offer currently. I think he's going to be a top 10 recruit in this class. Also a very, very good basketball player. I like his ability and his versatility. He's 6'3" and 230 pounds. He's played some outside backer. He can play tight end. He was an all-section defensive end last year. Those kind of kids just get recruited.
And finally, the last player to mention, we have a couple sleepers to bring you, but before we bring you those, the last player to spotlight, guy that's one of the top recruited players on both sides of the ball, maybe a little bit more on the offensive side, but he plays a really strong D-line from Mountain Point, and that's Natrell Curtis.
Yeah, I like big Natrell. He's a nose guard at the next level if he does play defense. I personally think he's an offensive guard, but he is one of the best defensive linemen in the state. That's why we're spotlighting him now. He's down to, I know U of A and ASU are still in the mix, as well as UCLA, so we'll see where he ends up going. But at 6'2", 6'3", 330 pounds. He is just massive.
And he's got great feet for his size, too. That's kind of what separates him as well.
That's why he's so highly recruited.
So there's a couple sleepers, Jason, that I mentioned that that guys to keep an eye on that are a little bit under the radar that we're really looking forward to seeing this season.
Yeah, the first one I'd like to mention is Brian Calhoun. I liked him when I went out to Centennial Spring Ball. He has since transferred to Deer Valley, but he's 6'5" and 230 pounds and just looks like a freak. Did not play much last year as a sophomore, but I expect big things for him at Deer Valley. I also like Nathan Elridge. He's a kid who has played varsity football at Boulder Creek as a sophomore. Big, thick kid, 6'3", 270. Like Natrell, could be an offensive guard also.
So Calhoun, you look like a freak. And that's a good thing in the eyes of Jason Jewell. That's been our top defensive lineman to watch going into 2013 as the season is just weeks away. Stay with us later this week. We're going to spotlight the other side of the football in the trenches, the tight ends. So make sure you check that out. Till then, Jason Jewell, Jared Cohen, this has been the Recruiting Roundup on ProsToPreps.com.